Y'all gives you a second. We having some technical difficulties. Y'all gives you a second. All right, let me know if you guys can hear me. Oh boy, Jesus. Wow. Look, the struggle is real. We having real technical difficulties. Y'all don't want me to be great now, do y'all? Oh, whoever is out there, y'all don't want me to be great. You get it? I'm not even gonna do that. You know what? I'm not even gonna do that because that's calling in some unfortunate stuff that I don't want actually to happen. Yeah, my apologies, y'all. Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. We having technical difficulties. This stream is not supposed to be that long, no, for real though. We're really not trying to stream forever today. Well, tonight, better yet. Um, so let's do this, right? For those of you that checked out the link, we will be responding, but we're gonna set the tone, right, with a clip from TYT from about 7 years ago. Yes, the Young Turks, right? But before we do that, we're going to replay Professor Odie. Shout out to Leon for the clip. Yes, Leon, I watched the whole thing when he first posted that. What, that was over a year ago now? Maybe a year and a half ago? Maybe two? It wasn't two. Maybe a year and a half ago? No, it was longer than that, wasn't it? Oh boy. So shout out to Leon for sending me this clip. Once again, like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. Let's do our fair use, fair use, fair use, fair use, fair use, fair use. And shout out to y'all for being in here. Um, Hopefully, I gave you guys enough time. And we're going to play these so that we can put in context what Mr. Z is going to be playing in a minute. So here you go.
So we have been taught to identify masculinity with these particular constructs of black culture. Joan Morgan also asked, are we prepared, or when she says we, she means women, are we really prepared to give up the things that we get out of the patriarchy for being women? So once again, a benevolent patriarch, we think of them as sugar daddies, we think of them as tricks, we think of them as men who do not mind going out into the wiles of capitalism or the wiles of being in the United States of America in order to come back and share the spoils or share the riches of the war with you. But as a woman, you don't want to hear about how it is that this war has impacted him. Going back to Bell Hooks, she said that it was very difficult for me to hear the woes of my progressive male partner because it interrupted the perception that I had of patriarchal men. Right? This Bell Hooks now. This ain't Oda. This Bell Hooks now. Right?
Why is it so difficult for everyone to just say the women don't want to do the work for the lifestyle that many of them want to live? Huh? They like to play this. Well, we're gonna be the ones who with the emotional labor and then the labor in the home, and then you don't want to do all the motherly work, and then you're not gonna do all the chores around the house. Yeah, and the trade-off is that I'm the one doing 65 hours a week and 60 hours a week and 70 hours a week. I'm the one who's gonna die early because I'm doing 80 hours a week. That's me. You don't want to put in the hours for the lifestyle. That's the majority of women. The outliers are doing way too much talking. The boss hog women that might be willing to put in the 60 plus hours a week, yeah, they just doing too much talking because that's not the majority. That's not the vast majority of Western women, namely American women, period, including the black ones. Why is that so difficult to understand? It's not, it's a trade off. It's not her contributing more because, I got the emotional labor and the. No, this is just a backwards way, Professor Odie, which you understand. This is women, black women's backwards way of saying protect, provide, and shut up. That's what you're supposed to do. That's not difficult to understand. Professor Odie know that black women are talking like that.
Miss when men used to protect, provide, and shut up.
Huh? He gets it. Huh? Professor Odie know how black women are speaking.
I'm making this as a PSA to any man that ever thought he had a chance with me or any man that wants a chance with me. If you like 50-50, stay where you're at, baby, because this mouth is only going to get more egregious. I promise you that. I'm paying these big bills and you think I'm not about to be talking to you out the side of my mouth? Watch this. Watch this.
Exactly. So we played that from Professor Odie. There's a reason why we're playing these clips the way we are. Here goes the conversation on TYT, put it up again, Z, because yeah, you might get struck. By the way, for those of you that were looking for the live comments from the previous stream, shout out to Joe Button. Joe Button struck Z. So that's why for those of you that are like Z, you said something, and then for the replay gang, shout out to replay gang, and y'all didn't get to see it. It was when it was live. So the clip with Melissa Ford speaking about Vivica A. Fox, Joe Budden, I got a strike for that, so I had to edit it, and yeah, so no live comments, and yeah, the live comments are half the fun. So half the things you guys said, well, not even half, all the things you guys said that I didn't see, I don't get to go back and see it now, so that sucks, right? So let's do this again. Fair use, fair use, fair use, fair use, right? Don't strike me, TYT. And here you guys go. Clip of TYT from 7 years ago. And this goes into something. Shout out to Alvin. I saw what you did there. Nice try. Hey, the left don't want to talk about marriage, class, relationships, intimacy, and what it means for everyday women, namely in our case, black women. Huh? Dr. Sabrina Strings, as much as we disagree with her, she's the only one that really want to broach it. And even with that, she don't want to go all the way with what it means too. So here we go.
Why aren't people getting married? Is marriage simply for those who are privileged? That was the question in regard to a survey done by the American Enterprise Institute and Opportunity America. As we know, the percentage of people getting married has decreased over recent years. And so what are the reasons behind it? Now, marriage has sharply declined among people without college degrees while staying steady among college graduates with higher incomes. So just to give you the specific number.
Y'all caught that, right? It's not simply college graduates. It's college graduates with higher income, and marriage has stayed steady with them. Yeah, just go to school and go to college. And men all across America, namely black men, huh? Nope, don't simply go to college. Make sure you get into a career field that earns the buku bucks, the good money. She's still gonna leave your ass anyway, but she's less likely to leave you. Continuing.
Why aren't people getting married? Is marriage simply for those who are privileged? That was the question in regard to a survey done by the American Enterprise Institute and Opportunity America. As we know, the percentage of people getting married has decreased over recent years. And so what are the reasons behind it? Now, marriage has sharply declined among people without college degrees while staying steady among college graduates with higher incomes. So just to give you the specific numbers, 26% of poor adults, 39% of working class adults, and 56% of middle and upper class adults ages 18 to 55 are married. So the number or the percentage is much lower for those who are living in poverty or struggling economically. Now, to compare, back in 1990, the numbers were very different. So in 1990, 51% of poor adults, 57% of working class adults, and 65% of middle and upper class adults were married. One of the main reasons that respondents mentioned was that, yeah, you know, when it comes to men who are struggling with their finances, who might not have good jobs, women are less likely to be interested in marrying them. And so that could be part of the reason. Also, just over half of adolescents in poor and working class homes live with both of their biological parents, compared with 77% in middle and upper class homes. So even though less people are getting married when it comes to a certain socioeconomic status, that doesn't necessarily mean that they're having less kids. Now, the overall birth rate in America has decreased slightly, but for the most part, birth rates have been steady.
Yeah.
Birth rate is like 1.6, yo. For white Americans, it's like 1.6. Stop it. Huh? Yikes. Adric, I ain't gonna read that out loud. Hysterical. Huh? Hey, she said she not against Botox, Adric. Exactly, GC. Steady? Exactly. What's steady? 1.6 birth rate for white folks, 1.8-ish, 1.7 and some change for black folks? Yeah, that's not steady, ma'am. Exactly, steadily dropping. Exactly. So now that we have that context, y'all listen close to Professor Odie. Y'all listen close to waving the red flag, right? Alvin, Josh, and Eddie. Ed, and Eddie. Alvin and the Chipmunks. Because I think they have something to say here. Here we go. Well, oh yeah, before we even do that, Once again, fair use, fair use, fair use, fair use. Okay, now we got that out the way. And here we go, y'all.
Providership thing and the expensiveness of dating. Yeah, because you brought it as a pervasive concern. I always wondered what to do there because it is real shit.
Yeah, I'm still honestly wrestling with that.
My thinking is something like I think that men need to decentralize women and just being like, hey, here's what I can and can't do, and if that don't work, cool, keep it pushing. But that's also kind of unrealistic in certain situations, depending on where you're. You know what I mean?
Josh, feel free to tell me if I'm completely off base. But looking from the outside at Josh as a person, I think that you are a very kind and caring person. So I think that on some level, when you are like trying to get to know somebody that you're even just cool with, but certainly people that you care for, it seems like I get the sense that the provider narrative is not necessarily all misogyny internalized for you, that it's somewhat like how you show that you just care for a person, like you want
to. Oh, so the understand not a cutting up providership. I mean, like if you're providing, but like in a non-patriarchal, non-misogynistic way. I mean, I kind of understand. Okay, so like there's a non-toxic way of you being a provider. Alvin, you're serious right now, huh? No, you're dead ass serious. You're serious. You're serious right now. Oh, Alvin, I get the feeling that you're like you want to be a provider because you care about the people around you, not because of it's not informed by anything toxic. What? Continuing.
for you, that it doesn't for me.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. There's definitely a disconnect in how we, think about it. I guess I approach that because for sure, like I am a very caring person because like I want to be able, because like providing for me isn't just financial. It's emotional. It's time spent. It's all these other things that don't have nothing to do with financial. Like those are the ways I also can provide, have value.
But isn't that the case for like almost all men, particularly Black men? Isn't that the case? The women are the ones who boiled it down, Black women, to financial support because they tried to pull the same thing white women pull. Weaponize incompetence. The men are so okay. It's best that you're a wallet, but like a nice wallet, like a wallet that washes dishes. Shout out to KMS, Genghis Khan washing dishes. Huh? Like you are an ATM machine, but can you be an ATM machine that vacuums and sweeps and washes dishes and cooks? Huh? The women are the ones who boil the men down to nothing but ATM machines. And the men said, I bet. If you're going to commodify me, let's play that game then. Shout out to all the women that say, oh, the men, they're objectifying us for our bodies. And what do you think you're doing or seeing him as exactly? But a walking ATM machine or overglorified guard dog. Continuing.
It's all these other things that don't have nothing to do with financial. Like those are the ways I also can provide, have value in one's life with. And maybe like this is like the internalized patriarchal part, but as far as like the expectation, especially like when you have like real life experiences from the women that we date and have community with, and like hearing their expectations of I want to provide her. Like, but a lot of the times they do.
That's
need
not
financial.
imagined. That's not.
Yeah, it's not imagined. Like this is not some internet like I need to touch grass type shit. Like no, it's real. Of course, not all women are like.
Okay, of course he has to go ahead and put that disclaimer out there. We already know, number one. Number two, the fact that y'all have to say it's not imagined, because all the women that watch you, your female audience, and whatever leftist, particularly Black women, that's gonna come up on this, and then she's gonna pretend like she don't know what the hell y'all talking about. So you have to put that disclaimer out there. Look, it's not that I don't touch grass, and this is real. This is real, huh? And then Eddie got to back him up. No, it's real. It's a real thing. Boy, them women got y'all on. Now step, soldier, step. Oh man, them women got y'all on military time. Jeez. Y'all gotta put the disclaimer out there and be conciliatory before you could even say something that we all know. The women said protector, provider, and they mean that in the shrewdest, rudest way possible. Wow. And to not hurt their feelings and be offensive by telling them who they are. Oops. No, like, look, it's a real thing. It's a real thing. Wait a minute. Huh? Exactly. Vincent's goose stepping for the gynocracy. Exactly. Oh, man. Continuing.
Like same men, because it has been used so negatively in the past. It was like, no, we're dealing with just real life economic shit where like you can make fine money and be able to take care of yourself just fine, have nice shit just fine. But you know, when it comes to like you trying to do something on we'll just say a 70K income, like for two people, completely providing financially for a whole other person, a family, paying all the bills, it's not realistic. And just having that thought that someone is like looking at me like that, I don't like that at all. Like my goal, like I would say, is not to I don't want to be like someone's like father, like, you know, or just like caretaker, you know what I'm saying, like in that position, because like you basically like,
you want a partner.
me. Yeah, exactly. That's what I always say. I want a partner, somebody who I can move with life with, financially, like emotionally.
Josh, the women aren't actually looking for partners. That's BS leftist talk that they use to incite men like you to attack men like Z. Josh, if you out here dating, you know what Mr. Z said is factually accurate. The majority of women don't actually mean partner. I said it already. Y'all have not really said to them what comes with egalitarian. Now have you? The entire left has not said to women what comes with egalitarian. What comes with the dissipation of patriarchy? Y'all don't tell them. And then they run out here throwing a fit because what they really want is patriarchy by feminist specifications. And even the white women in the UK realize that.
I was like, oh, this is going to make feminism look bad. Welcome to the Bell Hooks Book Club! Just as it was misguided for reformist feminist thinkers to see freedom as simply women having the right to be like powerful patriarchal men, so it was simplistic to imagine that the liberated man would simply become a woman in drag. Yet this was the model of freedom offered men by mainstream feminist thought. Men were expected to hold on to the ideas about strength and providing for others that were a part of patriarchal thought, while dropping their investment in domination and adding an investment in emotional growth. This vision of feminist masculinity was so fraught with contradictions, it was impossible to realise. No wonder then that men who cared, who were open to change, often just gave up, falling back on the patriarchal masculinity they found so problematic. The individual men who did take on the mantle of a feminist notion of male liberation did so only to find that few women respected this shift. Once the new man that is the man changed by feminism was represented as a wimp, as overcooked broccoli dominated by powerful females who were secretly longing for his macho counterpart, masses of men lost interest. So I'm very aware that I live...
She just read bell hooks. That's the other part. Oops. Yikes. And Leon says, Z, I need the link to whoever she is. I was sent that by, was it St. Cyr? I can't remember who sent me those clips. Shout out to y'all who keep me up to date with the TikTok. Hey, I'll be downloading. Yep, gonna download that one. Yep, that one too. Yep, that one too. Huh? Hysterical. St. Cyr says, get a Mary Poppins. Hysterical. All she missing is the umbrella and the dress. Huh? Yeah, what happened? Leon, St. Cyr said he'll get the name for you in 1 second. Huh? The women don't mean it, Josh. Coming back right around. The women don't, and you're in the dating scene. You know that. Huh? Yikes. Continuing.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I always say. I want a partner, somebody who I can move with life with, financially, like emotionally, like people somebody that I can grow with, because we change. But I would like for us to be able to change in like the similar direction. Like, how can we like come together, like make this thing new, like at every iteration of our life and relationship? That's what I'm really looking for. And I don't think a lot of people have that mindset. it's very, I think it's kind of like a short term, like check off. You know, they have all these external things going on, or I want to get married, you know, man or woman. And it's just, they treat it like that's a destination when it's really just a milestone. And
it don't really matter who it is or what the connection is.
You know, it kind of matters, but you know, but yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, I think I get the idea. The thing that I was going in the direction of was just tying something that Alvin said, because I do think that you're like a nicer person than like me or Alvin, for instance, on this podcast. And I feel like that's part of the equation. But I would imagine when you're going out into dating, it would be about, the thing that sticks out to me is, do you find it, or not put it on you specifically, I would think that the goal would be to look for a person that is less likely to take advantage of a nice person. So a person who's like, oh no, I don't want you to provide for me. Like a person who actively is like, no, I want to, like, because I think it's very easy, especially when to rest on societal expectations or role expectations, to be like, oh no, I never asked you to do that. I just let you do it, and act like that's not participating in it. So I'm thinking.
Who said word salad? Was it you, Adrian? Who said word salad earlier? Who said words? Eddie, you did all of that to say, yeah, so the women live under your performance of patriarchy, and even if they're not really for it, they'll let you pay. And when y'all have the conversation, they'll be like, wait, I didn't ask you to do it. Look, I'm anti-patriarchy. I didn't ask you to do that. Yeah, but you never told me that you didn't want it either. Eddie, you did all of that to say that. Oh man, what do they have y'all on over there on that time? What do they have y'all on over there? Step, left, right, left. Oh man. Oh, that's horrible. I understand watching your words. I get it. Look, I get it. Being deliberate and intentional with your words because you don't want to be offensive to marginalized groups and you don't want to add crap to their shoulders. I get it. The same stuff Kim Foster said about Obsidian and the sip and paint and get piped ass sisters. Okay, cool. I get it. With that, y'all spend so much time making sure you're not offensive. Y'all don't ever actually get to the point. They're going to get to the point. Wow. Continuing.
So I'm thinking, do you feel like, I think that there are, I think at least in my experience, there's a lot of women who are like, cool, I'm here for that. So if you try and do that patriarchal provider stuff because you're being kind or being nice, I'm gonna stop you because I'm like, that's not what I'm looking for anyway. So I'm like, no.
Eddie, you know those women are not stopping it. Out of 100 women, how many women are going to be like, wait, look, I respect it. Thank you. That's how you show that you appreciate me, but I don't need you to do all that. As a matter of fact, if we continue with this relationship, I really don't need you to do all that. I don't need you to pay for those things. I don't need you to perform those grand gestures. I don't need all that. Eddie, where you going to find that? Especially in the Black community. Where you going to find that? Huh? What's going on, Ray? Where you going to find that? Where she's going to stop you. Now, she might tell you when y'all are breaking up, look, I didn't ask you to do all that. You just decided to do it. You wanted to do it, so I let you do it. I didn't ask you to do all that. But in the midst of performing this way, she's going to stop you while you're buying gifts, while you're taking her to restaurants, while y'all traveling. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's it. Huh? Boy, I tell you, boy, y'all in y'all bubbles for real, for real. Continuing.
I like, not the fake go for the purse.
Yeah. I haven't really experienced that conversation.
Yeah,
but I know
actually, like, no, I've got it. Yeah.
No, and Eddie, like, I've experienced that because, and to Josh's point, because I do want to continue to highlight the fact that I think me and Josh are playing in completely different fields, in completely different lanes. But I think all of us are. Yeah, we all have our lanes. But like,
like we said, you're a super freak if you like all three of the types that we are.
Yeah, I have never encountered a woman that was like, I need you to be a provider, even though I know that woman exists. Based on.
Y'all heard that. Y'all heard what Alvin said. That's Alvin. That's the top right. In the top right, y'all heard what he said. He said he has never encountered that. He knows it exists, but at least in his intimate relationships, he has not encountered that. That's what Alvin is saying. He said the women around him ain't moving like that. Hey, bro, you got the most. If I believe you, we take you at face value, and I just want you to understand, Mr. Z don't believe you, but fine. You got the most curated. Shout out to you and FD and all you brothers who y'all got the most curated ass bubble ever. No wonder y'all talk to us the way y'all do. You have the most curated, goddamn bulletproof, bomb-proof, bunker bomb-proof bubble ever. Huh? Trump dropped those bunker buster bombs, and you and Iran like, I ain't feel nothing. I don't know. I ain't feel nothing. Huh? But that bubble's stronger than the goddamn mountains in Iran. Wait, what? So y'all heard that? Hey, Alvin said he don't know. Hey, I know it's real, but I didn't experience it. Okay, Alvin. All right. Continuing.
Based on
That's a
like
fair point.
yeah, conversations with other friends, like Josh. Like Josh says it. Like I got a bunch of friends that are like, no, these women are coming to me like this, but I have never experienced that. So I do think that surfacing that is important on both sides, because I think that people don't realize that they exist in separate lanes, that they're talking to people in completely different spheres, and they think that everybody's one way or another. But to Eddie's point, I think I'm much more like that's basically the story.
That's our response to exactly what I just said. Look, you operate in a different lane, Z. You just don't appreciate I in the lane you in. So the women you talking about, I don't even know them. I don't come in contact with them. I know they exist, but look, I'm in a different lane. I'm in a better and higher lane. I hear you, Alvin. I hear you. The pro-black women I'm around, the spaces, the community I'm in. I hear you, Alvin. I hear you. Continuing.
The story that I've always gotten for women, what you just described. Like it's
like
always,
if you try to do the provider shit, they're like, nah, let's not do that kind of thing.
Yes. The only time I've ever had to actively like address it is there have been some relationships in my past where it's gotten to the, well, look at all this shit that I'm doing and look at all this shit that I don't ask you to do. And I'm like, hold on.
So roll it back.
I'm like, so then I've had to, pull out some calculators.
He said, and so then I had to pull out some calculators. So in other words, you saying they're keeping score. What you're saying is the women you were intimate with were keeping score. You don't think that had nothing to do with no money at all? All right, Alvin, you're moonwalking a little bit, just a smidge. Huh? Yikes. Continuing.
We get back to the conversation. Are you drinking out of like a fucking pitcher? Are you just like picturing
this nigga is drinking out of a fucking, what them things called in the chemistry labs?
A beaker? I thought it was a base. Before I saw the little handle, I thought you was drinking out of a fucking flower base. On some real
on this podcast. What's going on? Why can't? I'm trying to stay hydrated. This is restricted. This is the patriarchy. This is the correct amount of water that a person is supposed to drink a day. I measured it out.
This nigga got a craft.
Y'all drinking? Wait. Every episode, I watch y'all motherfuckers drink juice and soda and slushies and various alcohol, poison yourselves. I come on here and drink some water, and now it's a problem. I can't drink water.
Nigga, knowing you, that could be vodka. You did have a straight glass of fucking vodka on here, like some sort of degenerate. So we don't know what the fuck that is. That could be Smirnoff Ice.
Don't try and change it. It's water. I'm letting you know it's water.
All right, man. Before we circle back to this very good conversation, which is a very good.
I'm just trying to be healthy. Y'all holding me back.
Of the live, it's a very good extension of the live. Also, make sure that you're coming in for the lives. Always be plugging. It was a good time. I do want to circle back to two things, because one, I want to circle back first before I forget to Josh's segment of the conversation, because Eddie was kind of laying out what I feel like was an archetype that kind of challenged the archetype that you're experiencing in the dating pool, and I feel like there was some interesting conversation within that dynamic.
Yeah, for sure.
Depending on, again, like what men.
Oh, I forgot I did not say this earlier. Eddie is bottom right. Alvin is top right. Professor Odie is top left. Josh is bottom left. And there you go. Just in case y'all want to know names and faces to names. And there you go. My apologies. I should have said this 35 minutes ago. Actually more like 31 minutes ago because we had technical difficulties because my technology didn't want me to be great. All right, y'all. Continuing.
Self as a spectrum versus what you're seeing out there. Because I'm not
so now mind you, because like, you know what, I think it's because it also how do I want to say this, the type of person you're attracted to might also have certain types of traits. You know what I mean? It goes both ways. You know what I'm saying? And it might be like the type of person I'm naturally attracted to just might have more of those traits that might make, you know, what you guys talk about a little bit harder to find.
Josh, are you saying, he said it, are you saying that the type of women you're attracted to tend to be keeping score about how money is being spent and who's spending the money, and they walk in the line of provider protector while you're looking for partnership? Partner? Are you saying that these women will be in company with Kim Foster and Khadijah and Julesy and be talking that partner stuff, and that the women you're attracted to will be nodding their heads, yes, yes, in agreement, yes, yes, yes. But in reality, they looking for protector provider, not partner. Huh? Huh? Yikes. Pusha T said yellow diamonds look like PP. They're looking for the PP, not partner, but protector provider. Z, how did you slip that in there? Huh? Yikes. Continuing.
To find. Now, and then on some real shit too, because it's not to even shade like any woman I've dated or, you know, dealt with in the past, like, oh, they was just on some like, oh, you like provide for me, blah 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 type shit. But it was an undertone of it. And they definitely have used that wording before, like, oh, I want a provider. And I'm like, well, what does that?
So even when the women don't say provider, there's an undertone. But you've also gotten straight up, yeah, I'm looking for a provider. What did you think? Huh? I told y'all gonna keep on pushing women. They gonna start telling you straight up. Protect, provide, and shut up. I'm glad we're here. Shout out to the Black Manosphere. We would have never been here if it wasn't for us. We would have never been here with the conversation if it wasn't for us. You think FD would have ever got here on his own? Alvin, Josh, and Eddie would have ever got here on their own? Huh? Leon, I can't play that. That's not how the back of StreamYards work. I do have the clip though, but if I knew I should have downloaded it and played it earlier, and I don't have any space. My apologies. Right? I know exactly what clip you posted too. I know. Huh? I'll see if I can make some space in a minute. But yeah, give me a second. Let's continue a little bit with this. Yes, Josh, they're looking for providers. And Josh is saying he gets hit upside the head straight up. Yeah, provider. What y'all thought? You're now. I said this to FD. Goddamn, Z, you say this all the time. You said this to FD. No, I really said this to FD. When you start putting these women's back to the wall, y'all gonna see they never meant none of that. What they really were using you, FD, Josh, Eddie, Alvin, Professor Odie, Foreign Man Consciously, what they really were using y'all for was to bludgeon us into silence. Protect, provide, and shut up. That's why Mr. Z spams that goddamn clip every 5 seconds. Huh? It's protect, provide, and shut up.
You miss when men used to protect, provide, and shut up.
Huh? And that's what they always meant. Right? Y'all give Z a second. Y'all talk amongst yourself. And we're back. My apologies, y'all. My apologies. But yeah, and that actually is, to be fair, a bit disheartening because if Josh really means it, and then he's running into women that don't really mean it because they don't really mean it. We've been telling y'all that, and that's the majority, Josh, which you know, the vast majority, which you know, and that goes across race. In particular, in the West, yeah, those women, including the feminists, are popping that the card-carrying feminists. They don't really mean it because even though the white young lady, the UK young lady I just played, even though she said that about Bell Hooks, once again, Gloria Steinem and Bell Hooks. What did Bell Hooks said? Yeah, you could keep those men that you love, Steinem, but they didn't have no money. Yeah, you could keep that over there. But of course, even Bell Hooks didn't mean it when you put her back to the wall. And she said that jokingly. You know she meant it though, right? I gotta go find that clip and download it too. Shout out to Leon. Continuing.
Tone of it. And they definitely have used that wording before, like, oh, I want a provider. And I'm like, well, what does that mean to you? And they, never could give me like a straight answer in a sense.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
because nobody wants to say it specifically because they know it sound wild, but you know what's up.
And yeah, because and just again, like I guess like the overall thing as far as like when it comes back to like your value in the mental health is, and then like the way Alvin framed it, like if you feel guilty about not being able to uphold like patriarchal standards of being like this super duper fucking provider and like paying for all the bills and so your girl can show flex on Instagram, oh my man did X, Y, and Z for me. You feel guilty and you feel less than. And like no one wants to feel that way at all. You know what I'm saying? Because there's so much more to life than just finances. Of course, that's a big thing. It's very important. But again, partner. Because two people can live just as cheaply as one. Two people can do much more than just one person. You know what I'm saying? So
do you think there are women that you're attracted to that are also not?
Damn, Josh, you going through it. Like all jokes aside, no joking, no schoolgirl giggling. Brother, yes. Josh, what you're running into is that the women never meant it, bro. No, moment of serious here. The women never meant it, bro. Is there a possibility you'll meet a woman that really mean it, and she'll pay that 40%? I'm not gonna tell you 50. That's really hard to find. But fine, for argument's sake, that 50%, and she won't hold that against you, and there won't be no grudge. If y'all do break up, she won't throw it in your face. Yeah, you can meet that. The likeliness, even in the spaces you occupy, the women don't mean it, bro. Before Elon even left this way, they wanted their Tesla Model 3, bro, and they wanted you to pay for it. They wanted their condo and they wanted you to pay for it. Yes, the leftist women too. They wanted to go to the grocery store, the Whole Foods, or right? Get their organic, whatever the hell, and they wanted you to pay for it. Yes, the leftist women too. Josh, they don't mean none of that. Like I know you know this, but let me reiterate it. The vast majority of women, including leftist women, don't mean any of it. Huh? The vast majority don't mean it. Josh, they want nice things, bro. And yes, they want to stun on the gram. They want to stun on their frenemies. This is what, see, y'all have over index on nurture, and here's nature punching you in the face. In those spaces, y'all have over index on nurture, and here's nature, women's hypergamous nature punching y'all in the face. Huh? I said it to FD. Goddamn, you keep on saying it. I said it to FD. Brother, them women don't mean none of that. When y'all start to tell women what's not going to come with the dissipation of patriarchy, watch how they act. They going to make a mad dash for any man with money. Huh? And that's why I played the clips I played earlier. Y'all heard what Anna Kasparian said? Let me play it one more again. Damn, Z. Huh?
Why aren't people getting married? Is marriage simply for those who are privileged? That was the question in regard to a survey done by the American Enterprise Institute and Opportunity America. As we know, the percentage of people getting married has decreased over recent years. And so what are the reasons behind it? Now, marriage has sharply declined among people without college degrees while staying steady among college graduates with higher incomes. So just to give you the specific numbers, 26% of poor adults, 39% of working class adults, and 56% of middle and upper class adults ages 18 to 55 are married. So the number or the percentage is much lower for those who are living in poverty or struggling economically. Now, to compare, back in 1990, the numbers were very different. So in 1990, 51% of poor adults, 57% of working class adults, and 65% of middle and upper class adults were married. One of the main reasons that respondents mentioned was that, yeah, you know, when it comes to men who are struggling with their finances, who might not have good jobs, women are less likely to be interested in marrying them. And so that could be part of the reason. Also, just...
Huh? Yikes. And Mr. Wilson says, are they frozen frozen time? Nobody's moving or saying anything. No, it's an overlay. So I have the sound playing in the background and I screenshot the overlay. So that's why you see neither of these gentlemen are moving on your screen. Right? Yeah. Josh, that's what it is, bro. I played that clip once again to show who's getting married. And here's the important part, because this is what Anna didn't speak about also. Who's staying married? So let's be very clear. When you start getting to middle class and above, they're not only more likely to be married, they're more likely to stay married. So they all, and if they do get divorced, their marriages lasted longer. So let's go through it again. These folks are more likely to get married. They're more likely to stay married. And if they do divorce, their marriages lasted longer than poor and working class folks. Do y'all appreciate what's going on here? The women said, okay, that's nice. And look, thank you for taking me at face value when I said all that feminist stuff, but I didn't really mean it. At least I didn't mean the part of like quote unquote partner. I didn't mean any of it. I only did it because Amy did it. I only said it because Amy said it. And Becky. And huh? Continuing.
Of course. I think it's just be a bit more, you just have to do like a bit more sifting. But
Yeah.
when it comes, but from a relative perspective, I think that's just a plight with anybody trying to find like their person.
Yeah.
And what they're looking for and what they feel like they deserve and what they actually do deserve. You know what I mean? Because a lot of niggas that want to provide, like I know a couple dudes that want to provide and like, because that makes them feel whole. What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Josh from Waving the Red Flag, but of course you already knew that. Here to tell you about the community again and why you should join. First of all, you get access to full episodes, the long form content versus just like the clips, give you a little something to snack on. If you want the full meal, definitely sign up for that community. Also, get access to the Discord, where you will also be in community with like-minded people. Don't come in on that bullshit though. Okay, don't come in on that bullshit. You will get the fuck up out of here. I'm dead ass. But anyway, on a lighter note, for everybody that have already done it, thank you so much for doing it. And yeah, also get access to additional bonus content too, such as the lives and like Alvin's always saying, ABP.
I should have paused earlier. Don't come in on that BS. I wonder, because Josh, it looked like you live in some BS in your personal, intimate life right now. You mean speaking about that type of stuff? That's BS? Huh? Do y'all appreciate the title now? Waving the red flag, the red pill flag. Now, of course, wait until Alvin starts speaking. Oh boy. Huh? Once again, waving the red pill flag. These guys know. Huh? We still state what we're going to state. We still make the argument. But let it not be lost on anyone. They're dating. They know. They're running into these women. Even though Alvin said, he don't know. Hey, look, I know what you're saying exists. I just ain't run into it. I haven't encountered it. Okay, Alvin. All right. I don't. We're going to leave that one because it's too easy. Everybody on that panel, you the one who hasn't run into pay for play? Okay, yeah, that's it. Everyone else on the panel, you the one. Out of all the guys on the panel, 4 guys on the panel, Alvin, you're the one. I don't know Alvin's background, so maybe, possibly. Alvin's the one who's now running into protector, provider, women talking about that. Okay, yeah, that's it. All right. Continuing.
And I also get access to additional bonus content too, such as the lives. And like Alan's always saying, ABP always be plugging, but for you guys always be listening. So that way you make sure that you're in on all the inside jokes and where everything comes from. So again, what I'm saying, definitely check out that community, hit that join button. Everyone that already did, thank you so much. We value that. But that's some other thing that they've expressed to me, like in therapy, like, damn, I think I want to provide so much and have them like rely on me and depend on me from X experience when I was younger. You know what I mean? So
it can also be unhealthy. Is that the idea?
It could be a bit unhealthy. Like there's some unpacking to do there, but it's in a very pro-social way. That the reason why they might do something is expressed in a very pro-social way. Like ain't nobody gonna complain about getting provided.
Well, not that I want.
And a pro-social. Okay, Z. Okay. Okay. You know what? All right. Continuing. We gonna leave that one.
I have the desire for being needed, but it can get into a bad situation.
Yeah, I mean, my thing is I want to feel appreciated, respected, and valued.
I can't do it. So your friends that want to be providers, they do it in a pro-social way. Do y'all understand where we are now? Do you? Okay. What the ladies are saying. Shout out to you, Josh. Is there's a nice and wholesome and kind and pro-social and selfless way of being a provider. Like, I don't want to feel like you provided for me means that I'm obligated to you in any kind of way. Like, I don't want that feeling. So I need a man who has, like, he smiles and he's nice and he's giving and he's generous and he does it in a pro-social way. Josh, you just said and I understand. I actually appreciate and understand what he's saying. The fact he had to say it, though. Huh? Yikes. Pro-social providers. Woo! Hey. Left, right. All right, y'all. Continuing.
Yeah, I mean, my thing is I want to feel appreciated, respected, and valued. Like I don't want you to feel like you need me. Like I want to feel appreciated. Like
Josh, they need you though. Black and Latina women who never marry are the least wealthy in the U.S. Josh, but they need you though. Not all black women, most black women. No? Josh, but they need you though. Huh? Black women don't earn enough. The average black woman doesn't earn enough. Now, I'm pretty sure your circle probably skews to black women that are doing well for themselves financially. But overall, Josh, black women don't earn enough. They do need you. They're just capping. All of this is facade. All of this is a thin-ass veil. Black women are struggling, bro. I'm only telling you what you already know. Ooh, goddamn, Z Ramen. Huh? Yikes. Continuing.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you don't necessarily want a dependent. You want,
Yeah, like
dependable.
Again, yeah. It's not. Yeah, so it's so much more like this. That's just deeper than like just finances.
And Odie, you were talking about because you were talking about this before on the live, before we switched to the main, the idea of people building up a wall that therapy is kind of the only place they can be free. And they've grown that wall, that tough exterior of fulfilling a particular role, because people treat them as a function, as a commodity, as a service center. So I'm wondering how that might play into a thing like this.
So I was watching a TikTok the other day. So essentially what he was saying is that you cannot desire a traditional relationship with a non-traditional man, because this non-traditional man will eschew some of the performances in a traditional relationship, right? So for example,
You were watching Professor Odie is a grown ass. Professor O, you had to watch a video to come to that. On, oh, that's some scary stuff, bro. This is simple. This is like Manosphere 101. This is like remedial Manosphere, not even 101. This is like the prereqs before you even get to take the class. This is the class before the class. That's what the women are asking for. They want traditional man, kind of, sort of, but not really, while not playing their traditional role. This is, see, you got to remember okay. What did BJ say about civilians and pedestrians? Okay, all right. Continuing.
You cannot desire a traditional relationship with a non-traditional man, because this non-traditional man will eschew some of the performances in a traditional relationship, right? So for example, I agree 100% with what Josh is saying. I don't want nobody to feel like they need me, because I feel like if you need me, you're a fucking liability, and that's annoying. So you're telling me that you cannot function as a human, that's annoying to me, because
Professor Odie, do you realize what you just said? Because I read this. Black and Latina women who never marry are the least wealthy in the U.S. So what are you saying exactly? I mean, you didn't say it, but it could be gleaned based off of what you said and what Mr. Z just read. I was trying to make it rhyme and didn't go. Based off of what you said and what Mr. Z just read, yeah. You said it's effing annoying. I don't know what you said about black women, and you ain't even realize it. I'm just saying. See, you put words in the mouth. You're right. I am. On this one, yeah, I kind of am. Continuing.
And they was talking about, oh, the red pill is getting marketed. They were talking about me and how it is that I was responding to something. And I was like, yo, they made the comment about y'all are only mad because y'all are dating Instagram models that y'all can't afford. I said, I don't date Instagram models because Instagram models chafe my self-perspective of my humanity. That would annoy me, right? So in a capitalistic system, I firmly believe that there's a particular level of self-objectification that we engage in because we have been taught that that's how it is that we are supposed to perform in a capitalistic space, right? So in other words, how much of yourself are you willing to sell for income? And how much of this role are you willing to perform relative to how it is that you have either adopted a skill, a personality, or a mindset, right? But irrespective of how it is that you've navigated this space, this transaction is still transactional, right? So if you are somebody who is the provider, the sole provider in a family, or if you are the individual who is quote unquote the problem solver, and people engage with you only from that perspective, then you genuinely, you create a wall. But this wall is not because I want to defend myself against these people who are actively hurting me. It's like, no, the hurt that you experience is quite passive because these folks who are coming to you as a point of transaction are not thinking of you as your complete human form. They're thinking of you as your performance, right?
Yes. Yes. I'm not saying that's the way it's supposed to be. Yes, they are thinking of you as your performance. Try not performing and see how that works. I don't know, for like, this is not even about race on this one. For like what? 85, 90, 95% of women in America. Try not performing. Let me know how that works. They don't see you as you, they see you as your performance. Try not performing manhood. Huh? See how quick white women, black women, Latina women, Asian women start downgrading you. Oh, that's a boy. He ain't no real man. Huh? He acts just like a child. He's a man child. Yes, Professor Odie, you are 100% correct. Have fun spending the next, I don't know how many centuries trying to socialize women to not be, well, women. Because y'all keep on over-indexing on nurture. All right, continue.
They're thinking of you as your performance, right? They're thinking of you as what it is that they know that you are good at. So you know how some folks will say, you came to me, you called me on the phone, and you immediately just started shooting in the questions. You didn't ask me how my day was, how I'm feeling, X, Y, Z, and A, B, and C, right? That's what it is that I mean when I say that these folks are being treated as if though they're drive-throughs, right? So it is
going straight to their function.
Exactly. You're going straight. You're bypassing the entirety of their reality. You're bypassing the entirety of their existence, and you're going straight to the menu of what it is that they can provide for you, or you're going straight to the menu of what it is that you know that it is that they can do. And for us as human beings, that's
because they don't see us as human beings, Professor Odie. We are human doings. They bypass your humanity for what you can do for them because we're human doings to women, and they want it that way. Now, that's going to be a hard one for them to let go. Have fun on that one. That's going to be a hard one for them to let go. For men to actually be human beings, I think, therefore, I am human beings. Huh? And not human doings? Not judged, rated, and ranked by what you've accomplished? Your status, your money, your education, and what you can do for her? Have fun on that one. I understand where you're coming from. Have fun on that one. Y'all gonna see. Continue.
Beings at our core are social animals. If we do not get that social itch scratched, we tend to find or adapt to different ways within a particular societal engagement of how to get that itch scratched. So it's almost like what Josh was saying about there are particular men who want to feel needed because that's how it is that their humanity is acknowledged as it relates to their value, right? So it's like, oh, I learned how to be needed because when I was younger, my mother was the person in my household who provided all of these things. And when she came home, she didn't have anybody else to talk to about what it is that was going on in her life. So I used to sit with my mother and talk to her about what it is that was going on. And then she would say, oh my God, little Day, I need you in my life because X, Y, Z, and A, B, and C. And that's how that association comes to be, right? But once again, that person is only coming to you for what it is that you can provide for them and not for the entirety of your humanity. So that's where that drive-through analogy comes from. It's passively dehumanizing.
Yeah. So I agree with everything that is said, and I could not have said it better. I do want to.
I ain't gonna read that out loud, Black Roof. That's hysterical. I ain't saying I disagree. I'm just saying. Go ahead. Continue.
Some level of bail, and in particular, even amongst women, particularly Black women, because on some level.
Oh, wait a minute. We almost missed that. Josh said he's about to level some level of bail for Black women. Oh boy. So y'all prepare thyselves. Mr. Z already listened to this before, so I'm telling y'all, prepare. Hey, y'all go the biggest eye roll, Tony Stark eye roll, Iron Man eye roll. Here we go.
I've seen like a lot of Twitter threads where effectively a lot of women that are preaching this stuff in a way that is not just clickbaity, that is not just trying to generate a view or a like. They effectively are saying that if you come into a relationship, they're doing it shoot for the moon if you miss, you're still amongst those stars kind of situations, right? Because what they're expecting is at most for this to be 50-50 when they're dealing with
so they're like, I'm gonna have to compromise anyway, so let me just like set the bar up here.
So I'm gonna have to
I'm in a goddamn 25-75 relationship because I asked for 50-50.
Yeah. And I'm saying this as and I want to continue to give both the caveats for both sides, for Black men and Black women. So Black men and Black women have the most egalitarian relationships.
They do.
That's back with scholarly research.
And the women hate it. They detest it. Huh? Where do you think the swirlers and the divestors come from? They hate it. Huh? Black men and Black. You're right, Mr. Z has said this before. And the women absolutely detest it. Black women hate that they're an egalitarian marriage. They want to pop that. They want to talk like that. They don't actually want the egalitarian relationship. They are incensed. Huh? They hate that. You know how we know?
But my thing is, like, I don't understand the obsession with trying to make Black women settle so much. Y'all don't do this with any other community. Like, seriously. Y'all don't do this with any other community. Do y'all tell white women that they should settle? Because last time I checked, anytime a white girl marries a Black man, it's always when he's at his best and when he's rich as hell. You think Kim Kardashian was going to marry Kanye while he was broke and didn't have any money? You think Kanye would have had a chance with Kim then? Or you think Kanye had a chance with Kim when he was a multi-million-dollar rapper? Let's be real. Like, y'all don't say this to any other group but us. We're tired of settling. We're tired.
Huh? They don't mean it. Alvin, they don't mean it. And as you said, the bubbles you're in, the spaces you're in, the community you're in, you don't come into contact with this. Okay, cool. But the vast majority of women, including black women, they detest the financial part of that egalitarian. Huh? That's their biggest gripe. All the other stuff is just talk, and you know it. The financial part of egalitarian, they detest it. And guess what? Black men are still paying more, though. It's still not exactly 50-50 financially, though. Continuing.
Relationships.
They do.
That's back with scholarly research. Black men contribute more to the household than men of other races and groups. Despite that, women still tend to do most of the quote unquote second shift labor. And because there's more economic parity between black men and black women tend to contribute an outsized portion of their economic factors, and they're more likely to work than women in other groups, right? Because there's such parity. So I do think that a lot of times women are, to Eddie's point, if I'm gonna have to compromise anyway, I might as well come in with my top offer. It's gonna get whittled down. We're gonna meet somewhere in the middle. And
in other words, this is their response to all the delusional ass women on Kendra G, rest in peace, on Kevin Samuels, on Ashley Dalton, all the women that Single by Choices covers, all of those women. What Alvin is saying is, I mean, yes, she's coming in, they like understand Z, like get it. Like she sounds like that and she sounds delusional. But that's because she knows you're going to argue her down to 50-50 anyway. So might as well shoot for the stars. Yawn. Huh? Alvin, you did all of that to say this? This is what it is? So you kind of understand, you kind of appreciate what the women are going to end up having to do 50-50 anyway, or some version of it. So she might as well walk in the door asking for six-figure men. That's because they don't understand and do math. They're really asking for millionaires. Because she gonna get talked down to your little lowly working class or working poor ass anyway. Huh? Yikes, continuing.
Statistically, it's probably going to be a little bit skewed in favor of the man. So even though I agree that everything that's being stated,
of course, Avin was going to say that it's going to be skewed in the favor of you. It's like, man, it's going to be Yeah, and that's why your sons are marrying out more and more. Okay, yeah, and dating out more and more. All right, I get you.
The good professor is spot on. Like I don't disagree with it. I do want to add that one small caveat, and I do think that I want to stress that it is a small caveat in the context of this particular conversation. Not the societal structural conversation, but this conversation.
And I'm recognizing that that's a small caveat you were making. I think that part of the conversation is like, even if we understand we're going through a negotiation process and both men and women are going like, here's what I want, but here's what I'd settle for. And in reality, this is where relationships actually exist. I think that the road from here to here can be deeply psychologically and emotionally damaging to everybody.
Very rocky.
Regardless of where you end up settling. So it's like, cool. Yeah. Men are going, we want this. We physically, sexually, blah, blah, blah. But realistically, most men will get what they can get. That doesn't mean that doesn't have like a direct impact on women's self-image and how they move through the world and all that kind of shit. And the reverse of that is also true. So it's like,
Let me get this right. Eddie admitted that the men are getting where they fit in. But in the midst of the negotiation, both parties are hurt by the conversation. And he emphasizes the women. He's like, oh, yeah. And it's the same the other way around, too. So in the midst of the negotiation on how this gonna work, women get their feelings hurt because they come in delusional. Yeah, I know I weigh like 230 pounds and I'm like 5'3", but I still want a six-figure man and I still want him to drive this type of car and I still want to live in this type of neighborhood. Like, I know he's gonna argue me down anyway. Z, you made one very critical mistake. You mentioned your weight as if she would acknowledge her weight in real life. Ooh, you know, you're right. You're right. You're right. Huh? Like, I know I have a crap attitude. She wouldn't acknowledge that either. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Mhm. Huh? Oh, man. Shout out to you, Eddie. Eddie really pulled the. Eddie really pulled this. And what the question is, what are everyday black men supposed to do with this? To Alvin, to Josh, to Eddie, to Professor Odie. What are everyday, and this is why your sons are dating out. Huh? This is why. And this is why white men are grabbing their passports and going overseas. This is why black men are grabbing their passport and going overseas. Huh? Oh man, continuing.
That doesn't mean that doesn't have like a direct impact on women's self-image and how they move through the world and all that kind of shit. And the reverse of that is also true. So it's like, yeah, you might be aiming for 50-50, but if on the road to 50-50, it's niggas ain't shit who can't provide everything for me, that's not going to feel good for people. And that matters.
No.
Yeah, and I think
But they mean it because they're looking to be subsidized. Like, yes, you're right. Negroes ain't ish if they can't do anything for me. Yes, because she's telling you what she's doing there. She's looking to be subsidized. And she's angry that she's meeting men who can't subsidize her or just pay outright for everything.
I'm making this as a PSA to any man that ever thought he had a chance with me or any man that wants a chance with me. If you like 50-50, stay where you're at, baby, because this mouth is only going to get more egregious. I promise you that. I'm paying these big bills and you think I'm not about to be talking to you out the side of my mouth? Watch this. Watch this.
You can't send me no money for my hair. You can't send me no money for my nails. You can't give me no money for no food. You can't give me no money on my rent. You can't give me no money on my car note. Can't give me no money on my car insurance. Can't give me no money on my phone bill. Can't give me no money on my light bill. Can't give me no money on my gas bill. All you can give me is dick. Bitch, get the fuck away from me. That's all I want to hear is you get the fuck away from me, bitch. Because I don't want to hear shit and you can't do shit for me. Fuck, I look like out here just giving my coochie up and you can't do nothing for me. You can't buy a bitch nothing to eat. Let's be for real, like, fuck out of here. Fuck out of here. Fuck out of here, nigga. Move the fuck on and move the fuck around because I'm ready to move on and move the fuck around too. Like, you say to me, oh, can I get some coochie? No, bitch, can I get some money? Fuck. So I gotta pay for cat? Yes. Yes, at this point, this pussy is for sale, bitch. You want some of it, you gotta give some money for it. I need nails, I need hair, I got bills, bitch.
Eddie, what were you saying again? Oh no, there's more.
Niggas be so quick to let me take you on a trip. Let me take you on a trip. Pay a fucking bill. Pay a bill. Pay a goddamn bill.
Always begging. Damn.
Can we get on the phone? No, get on the phone with billing. Don't talk to me. Talk to billing.
Yeah. Continuing.
Go ahead. I'm listening.
And well, for the people who don't watch the live, go watch the live. Always be plugging.
Gotcha.
I think that's where outside of the caveat that I gave for the Joshes of the world, I think that's where it comes. That's where it comes into like where at the individual level you can cut the patriarchal nonsense off at the root, right? Because a lot of times people often feel some type of way. They feel that role stress, to take the phrasing of the good professor. They feel that role stress because they've internalized what that means. And again, I do realize that what I'm going to say is a process. It is not something that you can just wake up and do. It is not something that you may innately do based on how we're socialized from that perspective. But you can just say, yeah, I'm not going to do that over time, right? Like you can just say like, hey, and again, and we had a long conversation about the fact that like I've built up some plot armor in this respect because like not nobody, but the vast majority of the human population cannot call me broke. So
I appreciate you acknowledging that because I think that goes unspoken in a lot of these conversations. With
so a lot of this stuff I have plot armor, and a lot of this stuff rolls off of me due to that armor. But like I was the same way when I made $70K. I was, you know what I mean? Yeah. So like you can very much say like that. I don't. That's not the relationship.
You have other plot armor as well, but I think you're acknowledging that point as well.
True. Like that's not what I want. That's not.
Alvin just said he making the type of money to tell them chicks, I'm not doing that, and they gonna go. You could have just said that, bro. Mrs. Z. Rahman again. So Alvin is pretty much saying he makes the type of money, and I guess he, in his community, he's established enough and well-known enough where he could just tell them, yeah, that patriarchal stuff y'all expecting from me, yeah, I'm not doing none of that. That hyper provider stuff, yeah, I'm not doing that. That's why he had to make sure to give that disclaimer. Well, I was like this when I earned 70 grand. Also, when I was making 70, I was moving just like this. Huh? So you saying the money is the motive? Huh? So you're saying the money and your status in your community allows for you to say to the ladies, hey, yeah, that provider stuff thing that you kind of inching towards, yeah, nah, not me. See the way my bank account works. Do you appreciate how different your existence is from your standard black man? And that's why he's saying, oh, well, I understand it's a process. It's not going to work, bro. Working poor women ain't not trying to hear that at all. What world y'all living? Y'all can't be living in the. Are they living on Earth 616? Y'all can't be living on Earth 616. We get our universes tied up. The multiverse, we could tell it's expanding because they can't be living on Earth 616. They can't be living in this universe. Speak like this to working class women earning 60 and 50 and 40 and 30 some odd $1,000, and let me know how that works. Continue.
That's not what I want. That's not what I want to do. So like I'm gonna keep it pushing, and I'm all the happier for that. But I think that that's a process, and I think that people should explore the possibility of making that a part of their process, because I'm telling you, it has done wonders for me psychologically. Saying honestly, no, like all of these societal pressures. In regards to being a provider, I'm not engaging.
Because I feel like women do it well, or at least I observe it. I don't know if what the literature says about women actually doing this in mass, because Instagram and BBLs and plastic surgery are still booming industries. But I feel like it's a lot of women just saying, "Nah, I'm good. I'm not participating in this shit." And I feel like niggas got to do the same thing. Like,
marriage numbers.
Yes, the women are doing it because the social pressure isn't on their shoulder. Huh? It looks like women are they're more likely they don't have to. They'll say, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing that surgery. I'm not doing that. Yeah, because the pressure isn't on their shoulders. There, you said that better. The pressure isn't on their shoulders. We don't put pressure on women's shoulders to perform, Eddie. That's what you just said. Maybe you didn't realize you said that, Eddie. We don't put pressure on women's shoulders to perform. They can perform, they can compete, and if they don't want to compete, we don't make them compete. Huh? That's what you just said. Yikes.
Marriage numbers are the example. Marriage numbers are a good example. They're saying like, these marriages can be shitty. I'm not going to have a shitty marriage just because society tells me that I want to be married. So like marriage rates are going down. And by the same token, the marriages that do actually make it through have been slightly more successful.
Yeah.
And now y'all understand why I played the TYT clip, which we're going to play again now. The women aren't getting married because of money, bro. Not because of character flaw. Not because the marriages are ishy. None of that. It's the money part. Well, and here's the kicker though. And then they stay not having money because they didn't get married. You see how that works? They didn't get married because the men in their circles don't earn enough, but then they mess around and not get married, so they never actually get out of the situation that they're in. Well, damn.
Why aren't people getting married? Is marriage simply for those who are privileged? That was the question in regard to a survey done by the American Enterprise Institute and Opportunity America. As we know, the percentage of people getting married has decreased over recent years. And so what are the reasons behind it? Now, marriage has sharply declined among people without college degrees while staying steady among college graduates with higher incomes. So just to give you the specific numbers, 26% of poor adults, 39% of working class adults, and 56% of middle and upper class adults ages 18 to 55 are married. So the number or the percentage is much lower for those who are living in poverty or struggling economically. Now, to compare, back in 1990, the numbers were very different. So in 1990, 51% of poor adults, 57% of working class adults, and 65% of middle and upper class adults were married. One of the main reasons that respondents mentioned was that, yeah, you know, when it comes to men who are struggling with their finances, who might not have good jobs, women are less likely to be interested in marrying them. And so that could be part of the reason. Also, just over half of adolescents in poor and working class homes live with both of their biological parents, compared with 77% in middle and upper class homes. So even though less people are getting married when it comes to, you know, a certain socioeconomic status, that doesn't necessarily mean that they're having less kids. Now,
Yeah. So, Alvin, what was that you were saying again? You didn't mention why. Well, actually, you kind of implied these marriages are ishy. Why? Because of character flaws in the men? It has nothing to do with the money, though. Once again, 26% of poor Americans are married, 39% of working class Americans are married, 56% of middle class and above Americans are married. Yeah. So unless, Alvin, you want to go out on a limb and say that's because working poor and working class Americans, namely the men, because it's about the men are less emotionally intelligent, they're less kind, right? They're meaner, they're shrewder, they lack class compared to their middle class and above male counterparts. If you want to go out on the limb and say that, which would be classist, then go ahead and say that. But boiling it down to anything more than really the money and the status, of course, and the status signifiers, of course. You're not having a real conversation. We're not having a real adult conversation here. Huh? See what I'm saying? And Black Rule, shout out to Black Rule. Black Rule says, so he's basically an example of outliers talking too much. That's why I say it. That's why I say it. Shout out to Black Rule. Huh? That's exactly why I say it. That should never let Mr. Hey, shout out to YouTube. I'm not gonna complain too much. Look, YouTube's doing me dirty, but that's okay because we still got a response for y'all ass. Alvin, this is not it. Huh? This is not it. You're gonna continue to make this argument, but this is not it. Watching the left, the supposed left, duck, dodge, tie themselves into pretzels, huh? Hurdle jump over the money part of the conversation is fascinating. Y'all talking about money and yet y'all still avoiding the money? Wait, what? Alvin, you started talking about money in marriages and you didn't bring up, well, excuse me, say that better, see. You started talking about marriage and you didn't bring up the money element of it all and who's getting married and, very importantly, staying married and how that has a lot to do with class, education, and wait for it, the money of the men. How are you talking about the money? That's what this whole segment is. How are you talking about the money and then avoiding the money? Wait, what? Continue.
I'm just good.
So I think to a larger degree, though, right, Eddie and Alvin. So Alvin, your point of saying like this idea of I'm just going to opt out of a patriarchal performance, right? And Eddie, the follow up to saying like, yo, there are a number of men who should like decenter women. I feel like we need to go a step further than that.
So y'all already know what time it is.
It's about to get interesting after this advertisement for one of their games they created or something like that. But yeah, the decenter women. The women don't actually want you to decenter them. Number one. Number two, look how he's going to reframe this. So listen close. It's going to come after the advertisement. So y'all bear with and we'll get to it on the other side of this.
We need to go a step further than that.
So y'all already know what time it is. We got our card games. This is how we pay the bills. People have enjoyed and loved all across the country. It's a red flag. And now we got the new game. In all seriousness, we got the serious side. Boom. We got the silly side. 100 prompts. That's double the prompts from the previous game. Bring that to the cookout, the kickback, the games night. Have a fun time, have a silly time, and get ready for some of the deepest and dumbest conversations of your life. Grab that at shop.wavingtheredflag.com. 10% off for all channel members. Cop that.
I firmly believe that a number of men should decenter patriarchal performances because I've argued. So a number of folks will say that.
And there you go. Not decenter women. Decenter patriarchal performance. He's going to go into detail in a minute. No one actually, at least in this segment, because this is from a live that Mr. Z was not able to catch. I think it's hidden behind members only or whatever the hell. But at least in this segment, did anybody hear anyone say decenter women? So unless they said it previous to this segment, okay, fine. Mr. Z missed it. So Professor Odie took from this decenter women. Okay, that's understandable. I get it. I kind of heard the same thing, right? So no one said it, at least in this segment, but that was the background noise. So he just wrapped it up in a pre-bow and he said decenter women. Okay, fine. He then recontextualizes it and say, actually, we need to decenter patriarchal performance. It always comes back to the patriarchy now, doesn't it? Now listen to how he's going to try to explain this. It's going to get real interesting and convoluted and yeah, continue.
Argue. So a number of folks will say that men automatically center themselves. And I disagree. I feel like men center patriarchal performances sincerely, right?
Yeah.
So men do not center themselves, right? Because I feel like if men
I'm agreeing with this. We need to center ourselves. Interestingly enough, once again, you took away decenter women and said decenter patriarchy. Decenter patriarchal performance. Why can't we go back to decentering the women? Because of what it looks like to decenter women. What does it look like when men decenter women? Ooh, you know kind of how young millennials and Gen Z are doing it. You know what it looked like to decenter women? Playing video games. Going out with your boys. Going on road trips. No hanky-pankies, though. Huh? The Jergens lotion. Huh? Hobbies. Season passes. Car shows. MMA events. Huh? That's what it looks like to decenter women. So we can't say that. We got to tell you to decenter your patriarchal performance, even though you still gonna be engaging in it. Huh? In a pro-social way. We just ain't gonna call it patriarchy. We're gonna call it egalitarian. We're not gonna call it patriarchy by feminist specifications because if that's what it really is, we can't acknowledge that, Z. Huh? Yikes. Continue.
right? Because I feel like if men actually
as individual humans,
yes, I feel like if men actually centered themselves,
there would be less patriarchy, probably.
Thank you.
Yeah.
The patriarchy.
I think the patriarchy. I think when people say that we center ourselves, they're saying that we center our group. So I think that you're right, and I think that's just the semantic bridge. Is like we center ourselves. We don't center
the individual.
And I get that semantic bridge. Like I understand that. But that's the reason why I said I feel like we need to take it a step further, right?
Yeah.
I feel like a number of men center patriarchal performances because, and this is where for a number of red pill motherfuckers, this whole idea of it's the women's fault, because there are a number of women who respond to these patriarchal performances, and there are a number of women who internalize patriarchy to a point where if you as a man do not perform these patriarchal performances, then there is a questioning of your masculinity, or there's a questioning of, and this is not just solely for women, that this is women and men, but having this conversation as a man, it's like, if I were to decenter, or if I were to remove myself, or if I were to reject myself from these patriarchal standards, then what is the next step? So going to your point, Eddie, about being somebody who's solution oriented, right? My next step is usually, I'm not doing this because I'm a man. I'm doing this because it benefits the community that I've said.
Oh man, the word salad. Okay. Essentially, men are performing for each other and for the women. You mean the tribe? If you want men to decenter the tribe, you got to be prepared for men to decenter the tribe. And you don't get to call us in for community afterward. Huh? It's very, the thread y'all trying to needle right now, or needle y'all trying to thread, Z said it's so backwards. Because you want it, but you don't want it. You want this protection thing, but you don't want it. It's a real interesting thing, pro-social providing and all this weird stuff. Huh? Y'all hearing this correctly? Yikes. Continuing.
Right. So if I say I want to be your partner, and funnily enough, motherfuckers get real hold up about that word. I don't get it. I mean, I kind of get it, but I don't get it. Right. So if I call you my partner, no, let me explain something to you, brother. There are a number of men who will get upset when women say this is my partner instead of saying this is my husband, or this is like it's a very real thing.
Is it like on some gay shit or like anti-gay shit, or okay,
yes, but also
okay,
There's a lot of holding on once again to that patriarchal title, right?
Professor Odie, are you talking about Mr. Z? And that word partner? Yes, because we're not doing partner here. Shout out to Josh. You can look for partner player. Let me know how it works. Huh? Ms. Z let Mr. Z know. Mr. Z let Miss Z know. Yeah, look. Love you, babe. But yeah, I'm gonna need you to play this role right here because I'm just not that. I'm not gonna do that. That I'm gonna leave that to you. I bet. Cool. Well, this I don't really care for doing this. You got that. Okay, yeah, I got it. Okay, cool. Yeah, the partnership thing allows for people to start moonwalking, and it sounds really LGBTQ because, and it sounds real neoliberal, capitalist, white supremacist ish, business, corporations ish. Way too much business talk in a relationship for Z. I thought y'all was supposed to be like not super pro capitalism. Y'all don't understand what the problem with the word partner is in an intimate romantic relationship? No? Okay, all right. It's just Z. Huh? Yikes. Continue.
Patriarchal title, right? Because if we trace the history of patriarchy comes from where agrarian states or these nomadic states began to solidify in particular spaces, and thus these gender ideological roles began forming from the desire to corral or manage or hoard resources against external parties who were attempting to. So then, once again, basically, if I need motherfuckers to go to war to protect what it is that we have, then you need to be regulated to being a baby maker and a baby grower. Like, that's what you need to do. And me, my job is to go out here and either facilitate these resources, or if motherfuckers try to come snatch it, defend these resources, right? That's the seed that creates this entire vine of, the thought process, right? If men were to decenter this, right? If we were to move away from this identity or this identity function.
Huh. Professor Odie, are you saying that in a weird way? Are you saying that we live in an advanced society, and so these traits and these ideas and these concepts of men lead patriarchy are passe, and we need to let bygones be bygones and leave that in an old dead era. Do you fully appreciate, because I've watched enough of you to understand you appreciate this, but I gotta ask the question anyway. Do you appreciate what that's gonna mean for the same women and society when men say, all right, if that's how it is, prison rules then? Because you can't promise them anything anymore. What is there to gain now? Oh, community, you can still be in community. Continuing.
Engage myself with, right? What is best for this, not necessarily just this household, but what have you and I as individuals who have made this decision, what have we agreed upon, right? What have we identified as the best solution for this household? And the reason why y'all saw me flipping through this book, so the book is called Black Men's Obsolete, Single, and Dangerous by because Alvin makes a great point, right? For a lot of run-of-the-mill Black folks, the household income combined is still less than like $125,000. Household income combined less than $125,000. That's number one. Number two, even if these households are making more than $120,000,
it's less than even 80. The median household income in America is 80. So for Black folks, it's more like 60 some odd, something like that. 50 some odd, 60 some odd. Right? If you're lucky, close to 70. I don't even think it's that. The median, not average. Yeah, continuing.
Number one. Number two, even if these households are making more than $125,000, they're more probable to be both a Black man and a Black woman. That's number two. Number three, even if these households are both men and Black women, making more than $125,000, both of these people, 9 times out of 10, are working more than 40 hours per week in order to make this work. So when we are looking at all of these things in conjunction, even if we were talking about this idea of how Black poverty is established, Black poverty is more likely to be inherited through Black men than it is Black women for a number of different factors. So when we talk about this idea of partnership, when we talk about this idea of being egalitarian,
is it now? So we do know that 70% of Black boys that are born upper middle class or in upper class, they come back down to working class. We do know that. What we also know is that Black and Latina women who never marry are the least wealthy in the U.S. So, Professor Odie, when you say what you said, did you know that Black and Latina women who never marry are the least wealthy in the U.S.? By the way, Black women are the absolute least wealthy when they're single. Childless single Black women are the absolute least wealthy. I think maybe after indigenous women, but they didn't count that. But yes, Black women who never marry are the least wealthy in the U.S. And then it's Latina women. Yeah. Continuing.
Are marriages that are truly egalitarian. And to your point, Alvin, these marriages don't assign household duties by gender line. They don't. That is literally 9 times out of 10. That is the functional line where these households differ, right? They usually have better sex. They usually report less less conflict. All of these different things. This was put out by Psychology Today. It was a very interesting article that I refer to a lot. But it is a model of how it is that we can lean into this. If you
didn't mention the money part, Professor Odie. You didn't mention the money part. That's why I saved this goddamn TYT clip. Yeah, they're more egalitarian, they're better sex. What about this?
Why aren't people getting married? Is marriage simply for those who are privileged? That was the question in regard to a survey done by the American Enterprise Institute and Opportunity America. As we know, the percentage of people getting married has decreased over recent years. And so what are the reasons behind it? Now, marriage has sharply declined among people without college degrees while staying steady among college graduates with higher incomes. So just to give you the specific numbers, 26% of poor adults, 39% of working class adults, and 56% of middle and upper class adults ages 18 to 55 are married. So the number or the percentage is much lower for those who are living in poverty or struggling economically. Now to compare, back in 1990, the numbers were very different. So in 1990, 51% of poor adults, 57% of working class adults, and 65% of middle and upper class adults were married. One of the main reasons that respondents mentioned was that, yeah, when it comes to men who are struggling with their finances, who might not have good jobs, women are less likely to be interested in marrying them. And so that could be part of the reason. Also, just over half of adolescents in poor and working class homes live with both of their biological parents, compared with 77% in middle and upper class homes. So even though less people are getting married when it comes to a certain socioeconomic status, that doesn't necessarily mean that they're having less kids. Now, the
Professor Odie. Huh? Y'all were talking about money in relationships and intimacy. Josh was saying that he's running into these women that want protector provider. Okay, cool. And I watch y'all duck and dodge the money part of the conversation in the money part of the conversation. Z, you ain't making no sense. I'm making perfect sense. They're ducking and dodging the money part of the conversation in the money part of the conversation. What they're saying, let me wrap this up on a bow. What Professor Odie is saying is that the families, the couples that shirk off this patriarchal performance thing are more likely, and the ones that adopt more egalitarian ideals are more likely to report better sex, happier and more content relationships, etc., etc. And yet, what the marriage numbers say is it's class and income and wealth. Oh boy. We're watching y'all avoid the money part of the conversation while you're engaging in the money part of the conversation. Huh? Keep blaming character flaw in men. I know that's not what we're talking about. That is what you're talking about. Keep avoiding the fact that essentially America said, yeah, about working class people being married and whatnot, and working poor, lower middle class. Maybe it ain't for you. Maybe it's become a luxury item. Is that every woman to a woman, every man to a man? Nope. Is that the trend? Oh, yes. I'm watching black people that are supposedly supposed to be aware. We ain't gonna say woke. I'm watching four educated black men duck and dodge the money part of the conversation while they're supposedly engaged in the money part of the conversation, the class part of the conversation, the status and education part of the conversation, educational attainment, right? Continuing.
A model of how it is that we can lean into this. If women decenter men, right, and men decenter patriarchal performances, then what?
Notice what he didn't say. He said if women decenter men and men decenter patriarchal performances. He did not say if men decenter women. Professor Odie, why didn't you say if men decenter women? You said if women decenter men. Why isn't your next part of your statement, and if men decenter women, why is it if men decenter the patriarchal performance? Because we're still going to be performing patriarchy. Just patriarchy by feminine specifications. Huh? Yikes. And Saint Cyr says, Z, you're a manosphere ninja. How are you talking about class in such a way? To be frank, I think the West has played a very dirty game by commodifying everything and putting a price tag on everything. And I think our technocrats don't have the goddamn balls and ovaries to just tell your average folk, yeah, you can't afford that anymore. Yeah, we priced you out of that. Huh? What is it about that tree of liberty again? Anyway, yeah, I think they just don't have it in them to say, yeah, we just priced you out. You don't get that. Your granddaddy got that. Maybe your dad got that. Yeah, you just can't afford it. No, no, no. For you to perform that way, nope, nope, nope. So now we just rejiggered the entire system to devour you. Don't worry, we've insulated ourselves. We gonna be good. Even if we don't like each other, we gonna be good. Us over here, we're gonna be okay. All the rest of you, see the way the system is currently constructed. So I speak about class in the way that I do because these supposed leftists don't. We speak a lot about character. We speak a lot about all this airy fairy stuff, and we never get into like the crux of the numbers and who's doing what and how they're doing it. How often do you hear Black Bread Tube speak about the atrophying of folks being able to move up in class in America? Uh huh. They didn't. These are four Black men who's not speaking about the income element of marriage. That poor Americans have essentially, poor Black men have essentially been priced out of marriage. Huh? We're talking about character flaw and adopting a different worldview and a different view of patriarchy and of male performance of patriarchy. And yeah, but the money part. So I'm able to speak about class in this way because I'm watching these men avoid the class part of the conversation because no one wants to say to working poor folks in general, working poor Black men in specific, working poor and poor. The poor guys already know. It'd be great if you tell them, but they already know. But tell the lower middle class increasingly, and the working poor, yeah, you just don't get that. Like it could happen for you because it still happens, but it could happen for you that you meet a woman and y'all get married and y'all stay married until one of you pass, until one of you pass away. Yes, it could happen. It does happen. The likeliness, though, huh? We're watching four men that are like skimming across a teeny tiny bit of red pill and then pull back. Oh, nope, 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 nope. Well, we don't want to go there. Ooh, no, we don't want to go there. Huh? How are you supposed to talk about oh, because y'all want to practice flat blackness even amongst class in America, even amongst class in Black America. Huh. That's something to investigate a little bit further. Because I see the women engaging in this. To have Black men engaging in this also, this we ain't gonna say it part of the conversation. Okay. Four Black men, y'all. Continuing.
Performances, then what does this emergence look like? What is this new thing? And this new thing is like, bro, if we are in charge of this space, and this space requires cleaning, cooking, and facilitation of capitalistic endeavor to maintain, bitch, we got to do it.
Let's split it. Let's come on. Let's
get it done, right? But the reason why I was looking through the books, because this book was written in 1970 something.
Wait for it. Wait for it. Prepare thyself. Fuck no. Ooh, goddamn, Z. Black men still earn more than Black women. Black women don't earn enough. Once again, Black and Latina women who never marry are the least wealthy in the U.S. Professor Odie says, what's going to be the new thing? Because he appreciates that this is the question that we're asking for some of us. Like none of us, but okay, fine. Okay, fine. If you don't want us to participate in patriarchy, black patriarchy, what is that? Anyway, then what's the new thing, Odie? Well, so you might have to wash dishes. Black men don't wash dishes. Professor Odie, what black women will not be able to do is use men like you, Alvin, Josh, and Eddie to badger us into being pliant for them. That's why that goddamn marriage rate, interracial marriage rate, better yet, for black men is 21% right now, and it's increasing. That's why you hear black men speaking about passport bros. You're just not going to be able to break us to their will. And we know that the ladies are sending y'all out on send off missions because Julesy admitted it. Shout out to FD Signifier. We're just not going to bow, Professor Odie, Alvin, Josh, Eddie. We're just not. Nice try, though.
Clean
Continue.
the apartment, feed their children and husbands, do the dishes, mop the floors, wash the clothes, and perform other household chores. If black women are to advance and develop, they need time for self-realization. The sharing of housework does not diminish a man's masculinity. Rather, it affirms a man's sense of fairness, love, and security. The bottom line is this. If we are to develop as people, enlightened education requires that gender distinctions be minimized to those areas where such distinctions are vital and necessary.
Yeah, because I definitely feel like I mean, I know a million people have been saying this shit, but we definitely gender shit. It don't need to. Yeah.
1000%, right? So I feel like a number of men.
Okay, I bet. Tell her to have her half of the rent. Tell her to have her half of the mortgage. Huh? Tell her don't ever ask for help paying that car note. Ever. Oops. I mean, if you want to degender things, huh? Have fun with that, by the way. Tell her to make sure she have her half of the rent. And don't ever be short on it or I will kick her out. Huh? Yikes. And Black Uru says, the rolling back of the welfare state is a major wild card in your analysis, Z. I see a scenario in a few years where the poor marry for survival, much like how black people did prior to 1960s, to the 60s. Huh? Yeah, no, I think a lot of this is going to change. I think we're going to see some great change within the next decade or so. I'm saying that for a reason. A lot of that Trump big build back better, well, whatever. No, that was Biden. Sorry. What's it called? The big beautiful bill. There you go, Z. A lot of that really takes effect in the next 3-ish years. So 2028. So pretty much when he was walking out the door, and he's going to take a slash to the welfare state in a different kind of way. I really do think that's going to change up what a lot of women are saying. Huh? I think that's going to change a lot of it. And not just the women. Let's just the way people in general move, the way we think about materialism, consumerism, the way we think about these products and these showpieces of status, the way we think of each other, and how easily it is to discard someone. And I don't think it's just the big beautiful bill, but I think the overall environment it's changing because we went too far with some of this kind of frivolous spending and and that includes Z and the way we view each other and the way people think of relationships, both platonic and intimate relationships. And I think we're going to be moving, and we're already moving, but we're going to be moving in a direction where you just don't have the luxury to just throw people away that way, throw relationships away, platonic and romantic, throw friendships away that way, throw products, actual things away. And I don't know if that's exactly a bad thing. And for the women, working class, working poor, lower middle class, maybe we transition into an environment where you have to see men, particularly in this case, black men, differently. Huh? And Louis says we are heading towards a cultural reset. I think that's a thing. I think that's a thing. Huh? Yikes. So continuing.
1000%, right? So I feel like a number of men, they prioritize gender performances because those gender performances serve to uphold not only just patriarchy, but their ego and their identity within patriarchy. So it's like, oh yeah, my wife do X, Y, and Z. She make all the meals. She do woo this and woo that. Who are you? If we're having this conversation, who are you usually saying this to? A bunch of other niggas.
Mm-hmm.
Why? So that you can prove that your wife do whatever the fuck you tell her to do. And that for a number of men is how it is that they identify femininity, which is probably.
Anybody heard any? Is there a problem here? Anyone? I think you put too much gusto on it. I don't know if we're talking like that. Your wife do whatever the f you. But and the problem is, huh? Yikes. So yeah, that was the ending of that segment, you guys. That was the ending of that. Let me read these super chats. I know it's been a while, right? And Vince is a gangster domestic. That's what they're looking for. That's why KMS is Genghis Khan washing dishes, right? You go out, you slay the world, you slay the dragon, you come home and you sweep and you wash the dishes. And this is like ideal for many women, most, the vast, almost all. Okay, all. Huh? So Vince calls it a gangster domestic. And are black men really against washing dishes? Well, y'all already said that we're the most egalitarian, right? So we know that black men are not against washing dishes. That's not black women's major issue. Black women's major issue is that they can't find the baller ass man that'll bow down. They can't find enough protect, provide, and shut up men. That's black women's real issue. And y'all know it. Huh?
I miss when men used to protect, provide, and shut up.
That's their real issue. And Leon says, and thank you for the super chat. But Z, women were relegated to birthing people. Black men have to pay for their greatest grandfather and male society not giving women humanity. Say that. I didn't miss what you said about them being relegated to birthing people. Hey, ladies, you fought for it. You opened that Pandora's box. Men tried to tell you that wasn't even just a black man thing. Men tried to tell you, all right now. And now they calling you birthing people. Oh boy. Yikes. What's a woman exactly? I'm just saying. And Joe says, Barlamuccio the Great told black men not to be cucks. I was chilling with Barlamuccio earlier. Right? I'm chilling with Barlamuccio earlier, and he did say that. He said, "Don't be listening to these guys. See, they know better. They just talking." Ooh, goddamn. Apparently, this is what advances the black community. It's like black men. You. Guess what? You're gonna spend a little bit more because she's gonna put more. And actually, you're the one who's getting the discount because like you're gonna spend a little bit more, and you're gonna be the one who contributes more financially. It's just a little bit because remember, black men y'all don't really make no money like that. So you're gonna be contributing more financially, and she's gonna be the one doing more around the house, so it kind of evens out, and there you go, egalitarian. Bolamuccio told Z, hey, man, bro, don't worry about that. Huh? Yikes. Huh? Louis said, Barlamuccio is the mascot of the Black Manosphere. Oh, no, he's the mascot of Black Manosphere now? I gotta go talk to him and see how he feel about that. Right. Compassion done blinged out Barlamuccio. He done got Barlamuccio. So, bro, last time I tried to talk to him, I couldn't even see him. The bling blow, it was blinging all over the place. I have to put on the old BG joint, the bling bling joint. Somebody gonna be like, damn, who's Barlamuccio, Z? Barlamuccio the Great. Right, we're gonna tell y'all who Barlamuccio is.
So where are the men? Where do y'all hang out? If you don't go to coffee...
I have been watching this colony of ants for maybe the last 30 minutes. I've even given them names, life stories. That's Barlamuccio. He's always been a loner. And if you sit and watch Barlamuccio for about 30 minutes, you'll notice, see, he just quick to pass off. He is his own ant. And notice how he's a lot bigger than a lot of the other ones as well. Oh, Barlamuccio, I will miss you, because I won't realize which one you are after this interaction.
And thus ended the tale of Barlamuccio. Good old Barlamuccio.
Barlamuccio the Great. Huh? Yikes. So y'all heard that. Look, this is what passes for community conversation and non-toxic talks of gender and gender performance, I guess. And as they said, minimize it as much as humanly possible. Huh? I don't know why I'm laughing, but Black in the Middle says Z's live streams are great, but I need to take a mental breaks when he posts these bread tube and intersectional types. Look, I get it. I get it. Right? I get it. I get it. I know. It's taxing. It doesn't do the same thing for Z. And shout out to Black Uru who kind of gave me this compliment, I don't know, a year ago or something. Because I come at it borderline academic and I really need to work on presenting these things a little bit more serious, less giggles, less laughs. True. But I come at it from that angle and I appreciate where they're coming from much of the time. I disagree. I don't think it's going to work. I think we are who we are. Huh? But it sounds nice. All this talk of egalitarianism that's really patriarchy by feminine specifications sounds nice. Is it going to work? Does it work? Huh? We watched these guys that were speaking about money and relationships and women's expectations and provider protector. We watched them duck, dodge, jump, twist themselves in midair, matrix dodge the class, income, education part of the conversation. Who's getting married and largely staying married in America? We watched them duck, dodge that part. Huh? Yikes. And these guys are doing well, especially Alvin. They're doing well for themselves. Oh, we got Black Uru talking about Balamuccio now. Black Uru says, by the looks of him, Balamuccio ain't sharing his food with some useless female ant. Yeah, Balamuccio is brolic. Balamuccio is a huge dude. Balamuccio is brolic. Every time I talk to him, he goes to the gym. Huh? Oh man, he deadlifts leaves and twigs, heavy ones too. Oh man, but these are the guys, yo. I'm glad I actually got to review it with you guys. And Leon says, I don't want patriarchy. I want grandparents' labor. Hysterical. But yeah, see, you got a workaround though, Leon. You have a workaround. And I think what I don't appreciate, but see, I think you appreciate that this, well, actually we did have that debate what's that, a year or so ago. But as I was saying earlier, and as Black Rule noted, the outliers are just doing too much talking. Like, appreciate this. Some of you are outliers. Mr. Z's an outlier in different things. We don't go bragging about it, number one. Number two, we don't speak about it like this will work for everyone. Like this, now, do we speak about things that'll be more beneficial or that'll do less harm, cause less harm, best practices? And I think that's something that a lot of this space, not this space as in the Black manosphere, but a lot of like the leftist space struggles with is the concept of best practices, right? And that's why I say the outliers are doing too much talking. You're outliers. And so, like, yes, that might work for you, but best practices says that that's not going to work for the majority. Huh? Like, black men who are coming from the bottom, not performing in a certain way, how does that work for them? Not just even in their romantic relationships. I'm not in the suburbs. I'm not in the downtown area. I don't have police patrolling all over the place for the good and bad of it. Yeah. I'm not in white collar spaces. I'm not in spaces with the creatives. So me dropping this performance, how does that benefit me? Does that not make me a target for men and women? Am I not a mark? Huh? Better use this. Best practice is to make yourself an outlier. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. For real. The world's shortest TED Talk. Huh? And once again, Leon, thank you for that super chat. And Leon continues to partnership in hetero relationships is co-parenting. Huh? For the good and bad of it. I don't really know any good of it, but okay. Partnership in relationship without factoring in the children, though, Leon. How does that work? Races, if you broke, just make more money. Exactly. Meanwhile, your college grads, your guys with well, really your ladies, with certificates, high school graduates, clearly, a bunch of people screaming and crying about ghost jobs, about the job market, etc., etc. But if you broke, just make more money. With what startup capital can I start a business? Oops. With what job if there's a bunch of ghost jobs? And when I do apply for a job, I'm 1 out of 1,000. Goddamn. Shout out to Ray. Hysterical. But all right, y'all. On that note, shout out to Waving the Red Flag. This title for this video is Waving the Red Pill Flag. Because they got real close, and y'all saw how Alvin tried to scoot on. Well, I can understand where the ladies are coming, where the women are coming from. Like, you have to understand because they already know they're gonna have to negotiate down. They're gonna be negotiated down to like 50%, so they might as well just shoot for the stars. So, like, in other words, disregard their delusional talk. Yeah, that's it. Huh? Yikes. Being less gendered. So y'all just said, "F it." We go all the little conspiracies these men had about us, the Black Manosphere had about us going back years. We just come out the bag on them and just be like, "Yeah, that's true. Yep, we on that too. Yep, that's true too." Hey, ladies, do y'all really want to see what a degendered relationship look like? Do you really want to go there? Do you really want to see what a degendered relationship looks like? Intimate relationship looks like? Y'all might as well be LGBTQ then. Wait, Z. 23% of black women are some type of LGBTQ. Oh yeah, you're right. You're right. Huh? Ooh, Black Uru bars. Hey, I'm using this Black Uru. I'm using this. This is bars. Black Uru says, "I make money with partners. I don't make babies with them." Ooh, bars. That's good. I like that. I like that. That's a good one, and it's true. Huh? Detroit said, "Keep it on the DL." Oh no. What? Wait, how do we end up in Rainbow Land? How do we end up in the LGBTQ section of the city? Wait a minute. Oh man. And Joe says the bread tubes and intersectionalists, there we go, make me want to throw my phone out of the window. Don't throw the phone. I'm pretty sure it costs a pretty penny. Don't throw the phone, especially if it's like this goddamn Samsung I'm holding. Uh, hey Leon, I ain't gonna read that one out loud. I'm just saying. All's fair, right? What? Hey, everywhere you go, when you watch these videos of a woman striking a man and he strike her ass right back, what they always say in the comments. You know the what? If somebody gonna say it in the comments, what's the first? You know the comment. You know you're gonna see it. What is someone gonna say in the comments when a woman strikes a man and a man strikes her right back in any one of those videos you see online? Huh? So I'm just saying to answer your question, Leon. Hey, huh? Vince, you see me? Mike and Vince Perkins, you see? Hey, I'm just saying. Huh? We all know the comment. We know we gonna see the comment in there. Somebody's gonna say it. Wait a minute, Z. Some man is gonna say it. Oops. Huh? And Leon says, but that a woman. I got you. I got you. Huh?
Man, that's a female.
Huh? What you say, Leon?
Man, that's a female.
Just saying. Huh? Hey, Pastor OG, I'm just saying. Both on and off the court. Definitely off the court. Huh? You want to talk about DV? Let's get ready to rumble. All in their homes. Huh? So on that note, y'all, we'll pause right there. Mr. Z said it wasn't gonna be a long stream. And it's not as long as some of my no, yeah, it is. It's up there too. God damn it. Y'all got me. Y'all got me. So on that note, y'all, we'll pause right there. And this took longer than I thought it was gonna take. You see, you should have known better. I know. So we'll pause right there. that damn it, you got me, Detroit. And Detroit says they be like Mortal Kombat. Hey, the fatalities be the worst, the most brutal, funny, disgusting. You look, Mortal Kombat is there just for the fatalities. That's especially when better graphics now. Oh, look, we just played just for the fatalities, right? Hey, Black Red gonna read that out loud. Hysterical. True though, huh? I'll play the video for you though, Black Room. Here you go.
I'm not submitting to no man that expect me to go 50-50. You want your wife to bear your children, cook, clean, work enough hours to handle big bills, and take care of you? You expecting me to pay big bills, baby? I'm gonna want some bussy when I get off of work. Fuck is you talking about? Bend that ass over. Let that bussy breathe. This what you wanted, right? 50-50, right? And I do mean assume the position when I get off of work. As soon as I get off of work, that ass better be tooted up. As soon as he get up off me, I'm gonna look at him like, my turn. My turn.
Huh? Yikes. So on that note, we'll let that'll be the last bit. Shout out to Black Group. Exactly. Right. So we'll pause right here. Love, peace, and chicken grease. Y'all go check out other Black Manosphere content, other non-Manosphere content. For the love of God. And shout out to these brothers. Hey, boy, that's a bunker buster, no pun, proof bubble y'all in right there. Them 30,000-pound bunker buster bombs. Yeah, that y'all in something even more indestructible than that. Because clearly, right? So on that note, y'all have a great rest of y'all night. Like I say, go check out other Black Manosphere content, other non-Manosphere content. For the love of God, do not be like these guys. Except for maybe the money. I think Alvin got it. I think Alvin doing well financially. So, all right, y'all. Mr. Z out.